Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Commodity TV here in Zurich for the Precious Metal Summit Day 1. And it's now my honor and pleasure to talk to Canada Nickel. And for the first time in a long time, we haven't met with Dave Smith, the chairman of the company. Dave, how are you?
Very, very well, Jochen. Very nice to see you.
Great to see you again. We just remembered our time together, but Jesus Christ, it's a good 14 years ago when you also have been at Agnico, etc. And looks great. You are the chairman of Canada Nickel. I'm a shareholder of the company. I want to disclose that also upfront. And a lot of good things happened this year. Yeah, I mean, you did several new discoveries. The things are really working. You brought a great feasibility out. The things, numbers look fantastic. So this is all really in the making. And so what's next?
Well, I think what's next is to continue down the road of getting our partnerships structured. And as you know, we already have Anglo American as a shareholder. They're doing a lot of technical work on the project, specifically related to the carbon capture aspect, which I think is very important. And actually, Anglo believes that we can capture a lot more carbon than we've assumed in our feasibility study. So continuing with Anglo, they have 3 members on our technical committee at the board level. So that's great, having that expertise and a company of their scale involved and very interested. But I think the next step is to go and continue to get more partners like Anglo, different types of partners. So, you know, a chemical company to manufacture batteries, end users, maybe more formally, officially a mining partner, somebody that would be able to have the credibility that this can be built. But I think you can also take that to the government level and say, we've got this partnership and let's go, let's build this thing. And I think the governments are very, very interested in contributing and helping support this type of project, specifically because of where it is. And the strategic location of minerals, of course, is more important than it's ever been.
Oh, yeah.
And this being in Timmins, Ontario, already a mining hub, I think it's a natural.
Yeah, with a super infrastructure and, as you said, one of the best jurisdictions in the world. We all know what's going on in Africa, and we saw it in the uranium space, for example. All of a sudden, things are shaky. And I remember Elon Musk saying, I think it was last year, that he said, hey, please mine more nickel. I mean, you have, to me, one of the best or even the best large project in the world to really bring on stream very fast, meaning the next 5 to 7 years, because it's a multi-billion-dollar effort. And what I don't understand is like companies, and I'm a shareholder of like Valor, BHP, Glencore, etc., the large nickel producers, they should be really hot on your project, shouldn't they?
Well, I would imagine so as well. They don't let me sit in their boardroom, so I don't know specifically why they are doing what they're doing. But it's our role to continue to make sure that companies like those know what's going on, understand the attractiveness of it. You mentioned Crawford, the one project. You know, we have 10 or 11 Crawfords possibly in this region. Some of them already look like they're going to be better economics than Crawford, but Crawford's already the number 2 nickel reserve in the world, number 2 nickel resource in the world. It is low-grade sulfide, but the fact that there's so much of this in this region around Timmins that Canada Nickel controls, I think that will garner some interest from some very large companies as we continue to advance and especially announce some partnerships, have some money rolling in. People will realize with the feasibility study out now that this is real. This is going to be built. The world needs nickel, and the world needs nickel from regions like this.
Definitely. How is it going with offtake, for example? Because I could imagine this would be a milestone with a new pillar for the company where you can say, hey, we have a big buy-in.
Yeah, that's ongoing, and we're hoping to announce something this year. And, you know, it's getting close to the end of the year, so it's pretty well advanced. We'll see, but I think that is one of the major pieces to the puzzle. Again, another rubber stamp from another serious company that says, yes, we support this. This is going to be built. And that's one of the jigsaw puzzle pieces. And the more we get on the table and start fitting them together, I think the more obvious it will become to all parties.
Definitely. Have you been approached already, let's say, from, I don't know, associations, corporations, because of the carbon capture in the future? Because you can easily sell, what, like 18 million, how can I say that? 18 million tons of CO2 captured. That means 18 million certificates you can sell, and I could imagine there is probably big demand.
Yeah, that's certainly an angle that companies are looking at as well. For example, my previous company, Agnico Eagle, very coincidentally, the annual carbon capture at Crawford alone would be approximately Agnico Eagle's total emissions. So numbers like that do capture people's attention for certain. And when we talk to people about that carbon capture angle, a lot of eyebrows are raised because the numbers are enormous, the potential. And we're just talking about Crawford, let alone that entire district.
Exactly. That would be my next question. Is it only for Crawford possible, or would it be also for the next 10 you mentioned, which are possible? Is that the same geological setup?
Yeah, so the mineral that captures the CO2 is called brucite. And we've identified some other deposits already that seem to have a higher brucite concentration than Crawford. So yeah, we think it's entirely possible that we can do a lot more.
Okay, super. Coming back to the company level, I saw also in your presentation also various interviews with Mark Selby, the CEO, that you want to go on a small production start. So what is this? What is the plan now there? What is the status?
Yeah, the board was actually there. The property is called TMONT. We were there about a month ago. And it is a small historic producer, so there's a bit of cleanup involved. But actually, that's an opportunity as well. Again, my prior employer, Agnico Eagle, had a great success in Quebec with its Goldex mine, where we used the tailings to neutralize and rehab an old mining site in Quebec called Manitou. And that was a tremendous, tremendous success. So I think there's an opportunity here with TMONT to do the same thing, to do the rehab and fix something that's not right, but additionally get early stage nickel production for the company, early cash flow for a fairly limited initial capital. So it's really exciting on all those counts for me. And the fact that it's just to the south of all of our deposits, Crawford and Timmins, it's literally right there, has the infrastructure. I think we could get it done fairly quickly.
Super. If you would roll out a game plan, let's say for 2024, what would be step 1, 2, 3, 4?
Well, I think step 1, we've already talked about a little bit, get an announcement about some offtake around the end of this year, hopefully. Take that announcement and start putting together those other jigsaw puzzle pieces, the other partners, and continue to advance the drilling at these regional deposits so we can demonstrate to the industry that this is, in fact, going to be the largest nickel reserve in the world, which is actually what I believe it's easily headed towards, considering Crawford alone is already number 2. So that it's really sequential. I think there is a little bit of chicken and egg here. We do have to get some announcements in place to get the other people really excited, and a little competitive tension never hurt. But I think that's coming. And I do think you're right, Jochen. I think it's happening next year.
Okay, super. If you have a look on the nickel market, I mean, we saw your share price last Friday, 99 cents. Also, I needed a bottle of red wine when I saw that, really. And no, because you are so undervalued. This is crazy. Like a lot of other companies also, that market is crazy. It makes no sense. But what is your view on the nickel market?
Well, I think it's pretty obvious that the price of nickel is going to go up as demand goes up. The other part of it is, I mentioned earlier, the strategic locations of these things. I think that it's pretty easy to say that the Western world's not going to be taking nickel from Russia anytime soon. So it's really important to get more stable supply in regions that we're more friendly with. So I think nickel's going to do very well as battery electric vehicle demand increases. All of that is obvious. I think in the very near term, there are some surpluses forecasted in the nickel market, but by the time Canada Nickel starts producing, I think we're going to be into deficits and we'll have higher pricing. And so those returns will be exceptional. In fact, I think our timing is probably going to be extremely, extremely good on that.
Final question, in a best case scenario, when do you think you could be in production? Just a guess. I know it's a forward-looking statement, but just a guess.
Yeah, guessing, I think TMONT, we could be in production in, let's say, 27, 28. If we have to put a lot of things in line before that. Permitting's an issue. It's almost 2024 now. permitting, in my experience, never takes less than 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
So we do have to add a few years to that. So let's guess at 28, but I think shortly thereafter, we will be advancing Crawford at the same time. And if we get those jigsaw puzzle pieces in place and have a serious mining partner and all the offtakes lined up, and we can advance the funding as well, because Canada Nickel's part of the funding will not be insignificant. I think by the end of the decade, hopefully we're cranking out a lot of nickel, and it's nickel that the world needs. And I'm really excited about the Canadian champion angle of this, because there aren't a lot of really large global Canadian companies. I think the two largest would be Teck and Agnico Eagle. Agnico, of course, is gold. But I think creating that Canadian champion and starting at least with the largest nickel deposits in the world is really exciting. Really exciting.
Something really big. Super. Please make it happen.
Will do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dave Smith, the chairman of Canada Nickel. And you heard it, the largest nickel reserve in the world, or resource, of course. And things look really fantastic. Of course, it's a longer time frame because this is a multi-billion-dollar, how can I say that, opportunity or even construction here for the future, as Crawford is already extremely big, but they have another 10 like that size. So things look great, and you really should check out Canada Nickel, because that share price is an extremely joke, honestly, because the value is fantastic in the company, and I'm pretty sure they bring on a good off-taker. They have already Anglo on board, and I think there's much more to come, and the world needs nickel from safe jurisdictions, and that is exactly what Canada Nickel is offering. Great value proposition. Check it out. I'm a shareholder already. You should do the same. Thanks for watching us, and bye-bye from Zurich.